6 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Do you remember when you were a kid and you would go to the library just because you wanted to go to the library?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do.
You didn't have an assignment because back then there was no internet, so the only way you could do research was to look through books. Remember that?
That's right.
And so you would go to the library, and the library would have, the reference books and the other books that you needed for whatever it is you were trying to put together something for your school project. And then the library had this section called YA. Do you remember the YA section?
Yes, I do.
The young adult section, right? You would go in there, you say, really? Let me check these out, right?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're in the library like 3 hours later, and of course your mom is panicking because there was no cell phones back then.
Yeah, right.
And your mom is in the library, and oh my gosh, I was so worried. I thought you were going to come home. What time is it? Oh, I'm sorry, I was reading a book.
Yes.
That's what would happen, and I'm so glad that you can relate to that. Kate DiCamillo has been on with us before, and she's talked about Raymie Nightingale before, so I'm sure Raymie Nightingale. Do they still have the YA section? Do they still have the Dewey Decimal System at all, Robin?
I think so.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that. It's on Santa Claus.
Okay.
Okay. Moving the camera.
Good.
Yeah, so I don't know if the Dewey Decimal, that shows that I haven't really been.
Yeah, I think it still exists. It has to exist.
Raymie Nightingale, Kate DiCamillo. Let's see. Her bio says 2-time Newbery Medalist Award recipient, 2 major feature film adaptations of 2 of her books because of Winn-Dixie and the Tales of Despereaux. Am I saying it right? She's a former national ambassador for young people's literature and a New York Times bestselling author, and we loved the last interview. It's just too much time goes between good interviews. Kate DiCamillo, good morning, Kate. How are you? Kate?
Hello.
Oh, there you go. Now I hear you. Could you hear the intro?
Oh. You would actually have a better interview with me if I wasn't there, right?
Hopefully you heard the intro. I had the wrong button pushed. Did you hear the intro that I did for you?
I did hear the intro.
Oh.
That's what I was just going to say. It's like a super impressive intro.
Oh, well, thank you.
And as you know, I'm not an impressive person. So.
Where are you right now? Where are you?
I'm in Minneapolis. I'm standing and looking out the window at the snow.
Oh, nice.
I heard you. Did you tell Robin you wanted to be here, or was it you're the lady who called on your behalf?
Adrian.
Well, yeah. I mean, Ocala, right? That's where y'all are.
That's where y'all are. You're not from Minnesota.
Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know what the weather's like there, and I know what it's like here.
So are we talking about books for young adults?
We're talking about whatever y'all want to talk about. And, it's funny because when you were doing that intro and saying that you remember going into the library and into the YA section, when I was growing up, there wasn't any YA.
Really?
That's how much older I am than y'all.
No way. There wasn't. You went right to the adult section. So YA is like kind of like a new thing. You can't be older than us. Hold on, let me look at your book. No way. No, look at you. You're beautiful. There's no way you're older than us. I'm looking at you.
It's just a publicity photo. They make you look better than you really look.
So how is everything? How you doing?
I'm doing very well, and I'm thrilled to be talking with y'all again, and thrilled to be talking about books.
Well, let me talk about books just for a second in general, because you've had the experience of having a book that everybody loved and then having it made into a movie that everybody loved.
Lucky me, right?
Do you think? Well, no, from an author's perspective, do you think the people who fell in love with because of Winn-Dixie, for example, do you think they fell in love with something different than the moviegoers fell in love with?
That's a really interesting question. Now I'm going to have to put on my thinking cap, because you know how it is. You get asked the same questions all the time, and you usually have the answer. And I don't have an answer for this one, so I need to think about it. I think that what people responded to, and because of Winn-Dixie the book, was the dog and how the community of ragtag people kind of formed. And I think that's probably the same thing that people responded to in the movie, in addition to Dave Matthews, which doesn't hurt a movie, right? to have Dave Matthews show up and sing a song.
That was
And
kind of,
that's, like, one of my
isn't that crazy that
favorite
stands out in
songs.
people's minds? Yeah.
Yeah, because his part wasn't really super
Yeah, he didn't
huge.
have a big part, right?
No.
No, but everybody and people still talk to me about that movie. Let's see, that was 2005, so that was like 11 years ago, and people still watch it and still talk about it, which is great. And Dave Matthews always comes up.
Winn-Dixie must be dead by now, huh?
I would think so.
Man, it's Christmas time and you want to talk about dead bodies. Come on.
I mean, the dog.
But Dixie is alive in our hearts.
It's like Lassie, she'll live forever.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, just thinking.
Dogs don't die.
Well, see, when I was a kid, let me tell you something. When I was a kid, I would watch TV. This is now you're going to find out how old I am. Okay, so let's say Superman is on, and my brother says, he's dead. He's dead. Yes, and then the Little Rascals would come on, and Stymie. Is Stymie or Buckwheat? One of them was
Buckwheat.
dead. He's dead, right? And then the dog would come on from Lassie. Lassie's dead. Everybody's dead. Abbott and Costello used to come on. Costello was dead.
Yeah.
I said, holy mackerel! Everybody on TV is dead.
So yes, that does date you. Now, and were you watching Gilligan's Island?
Yes.
Because that's what I always came.
But they weren't dead.
Yeah.
Mary Ann was very much alive.
Yes.
Well, in your mind, yes.
Yes. Yes. She still is.
Hal was dead. I don't know.
Do you like the way the films are going in the animated area, because they're just so different, because they look like so real people, yet they're not?
Well, it's funny because with Despero, which was animated, it was this very classic, like painterly kind of like, it was a gorgeous, really deep hued, a very beautiful kind of animation. And so, yes, and all this, the computer, what's it called? Help me. Y'all know what it's called.
Yeah, the computer generated CGI.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, and I used to have, I have a 13-year-old friend who's actually 14 today, who I used to go to those movies with, but now he won't be seen with me.
Of course.
Because, so I'm not as up on them now.
How about a 61-year-old friend? Would you let a 61-year-old friend go to the movie with you?
Larry's putting in his reservation.
Yeah.
Well, he and I went to see. Did y'all see Paddington when that came out?
No.
No, we did not.
It was great, but that was the last time he went to a movie with me, because I had way more fun than any of the kids in the audience.
I bet.
Can't do that again. Yeah, it's embarrassing. Yeah.
When your book, I mean, you do have something that little girls are still interested in, baton twirling, things like that, trying to get people to notice them, even among their peers.
Right. It's funny because this book, which we talked about last time we talked, is ostensibly about a beauty contest, Little Miss Central Florida Tire, and ostensibly about baton twirling. But then it turns into something very different, which is about the friendship between these three girls. And it's funny because I was doing a signing not too long ago, and somebody came up to me and said, "You know how many books I've read about friendship between girls this year?" And I said, "No, how many?" And she said, 0.
Oh, no.
Other than this one. So, it's just like I never, that's not, it's funny, I didn't think of it that way, but I think that we do need those books about friendship, and particularly friendship between girls.
I think so too. I mean, even Disney figured out, what was that, the Frozen one, right?
Yeah.
Rather than having a Prince Charming save the day, the two sisters are
Right.
aren't they sisters?
They're sisters. Yeah,
so
they're best friends.
Yeah.
Can I confess to y'all that I have not seen Frozen? So
Well,
have you?
we saw it on a
wonderful.
computer screen. We watched it on a computer screen. It was pretty.
It was
Yeah.
really good.
The song was pretty. All these,
And boy, it's like I should do it, because it's been such a huge thing, and I haven't. I hope that nobody's going to call in and say that I'm a failure as a movie watcher.
Oh no! Don't worry.
Call
I'm
in
sure.
on this
No. I'm the bigger failure. I get this comment all the time. because I hardly see movies. I just happen to have seen that one. You know where your book is going to go? Okay, it's going to go on a table in this studio over there in the corner by the Christmas tree, because we are asking the listeners to bring in toys and books for young people, for children. And so this is where this book is going to go. There's already a few books over there from people. So this is.
Oh, that's fantastic! That makes me so happy to think about.
Yeah.
What's real?
So people can bring in books or toys.
Yep. It's for homeless children in Marion County.
That's fantastic. I'm honored to be under that tree.
Yes, you will be.
One of the really nice things about the way you write, Kate, is that you write as if they're real people. You don't have, superpowers and stuff like that in your books that people can really, really relate to, and you have genuine friendships.
Well, it's funny because I don't. They're actually nothing. They're not. There aren't any vampires. There aren't any. Well, I was going to say there aren't any superheroes, but there is a superhero squirrel in the book before this. So, but it's a squirrel,
right?
So, but it's just it is average people trying to make their way through a complicated world and connecting with each other. That's and I no matter what I do, I seem to write stories about hope that always keeps showing up. And so they're not super. Maybe they're not super exciting. I don't know.
Oh no, I disagree. I think they are. For me, okay, and this was the comment I always get when I say I like a Woody Allen film, because Woody Allen film has no special effects. It's just a good storyline, in my opinion. Same thing with your book. It's a great storyline, and it's like Robin said. It's something that could be real. It's not likely that I'm going to be flying at a spaceship or flying on a broom. Not that there's anything wrong with those stories.
I just had a vision of you on a broom.
I mean, yeah. Well, that was a long time ago, Kate. It was New Year's Eve. You got to forgive me for that one.
It just flew through my head. You just flew through my head. I love it.
Oh man, I'm glad I didn't see what you saw.
You guys are doing the toy drive and the book drive kind of thing, and then do you and also giving people an idea about what books to give as gifts,
Well, that's what you're here. You're going to help us with that.
Can I just say this?
Yes.
I'm going to help you with that, but I also want to say that the best people, the absolute best people to talk to if you want to get a book for the kid in your life, go to the library, talk to a librarian, or go to your local bookstore and talk to a bookseller, because these are some of the books that we're going to talk about are some of my favorites from the year, but it's just if you want somebody who can talk to you about what book your child would like, those are the people, and they're fantastic at it. And I like to get a plug-in for libraries anytime I can.
I love that. Kate, we have had fun with you, but we really haven't talked about the subject. So give me a chance. We'll take a break, and then on the other side of the break, let's talk about the perfect gifts for young readers. Okay?
Beautiful.
All right, don't go away, Kate.
Yeah,
we'll be right back.
No, I won't.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accidents. On this Wednesday, a partly sunny, pleasant day with lower humidity, high 74 to 78. Partly cloudy and cool Wednesday night with lows in the upper 40s and the coolest inland spots to the upper 50s along the coast. Thursday, partly sunny and nice, but cool, high 69 to 73. Friday, partly sunny and even cooler, high 60 to 64. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hi, my name is Erica Olstein. I'm a doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine. Do you have a gout-ridden toe or bowels that move too slow, creaky knees, or how about an asthmatic wheeze? Then acupuncture is sure to please. Come visit me, your primary care physician, Erica Olstein, at A Better You Healthcare. Call me at 352-615-5566. That's 352-615-5566.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
All right, 21 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. You know, the difference in my mind between the books for like preschoolers and the very, very young children and the books for like the middle schoolers, right, junior high school kids, is that as a parent, you always read the preschoolers' books because you're reading it to them.
Yes.
you don't always know what's between the covers of the books that they're picking up, wherever they're going. And that's probably the way it should be. You know, you want to be... You don't want to be invading their whole entire lives.
Yeah, you want them to be independent.
My son called me the other day, and he said he was with a friend. My son is 30, as you know, and so he was with a friend, and the friend has a 6-year-old, and my son remembered. I actually wrote a book for my son when he was 9 years old. Kate, are you there? Kate? Oh gosh, Dash! I keep forgetting to push that button. Okay,
What's the
Kate.
title of that book?
The one I wrote? It's called Oreo and Braun. It was I made up this story about these two kids, but anyway, I wrote it for my son when he was 9, and my son wanted to know, could he get it for his friend, for his 6-year-old? So I said, yeah, sure. Just don't get any of the other things I wrote because they're not all child appropriate. but that one is. But I remember when he was little. We had a book called How Spiders Save Santa Bug, and it was a little tiny book, and we read it over and over and over. When he was a little guy. So, and when he was like in ninth grade, in 9 years old or so, he was reading those Goosebumps books all the time.
Yeah, he loved those.
Yeah.
Oh, Goosebumps, yeah. Like, you get going on those and you can't stop. I remember Goosebumps I don't know if they're still as huge as they were, but they were so huge for a while there. And, like, kids would just, like, do 20 of them in a row,
Yeah. So who's your audience? Who do you find is your audience before we get into the books you want to recommend?
I think that probably, like, if I just base it on, like, who shows up when I'm doing a bookstore signing, I think probably, like, 8 to 12 is, the kids who are kind of reading my novels and reading them on their own and having them read to them in the classroom. So that's kind of, 8 to 12 probably. Although, and it's interesting that point that you made about picture books and how you always know what's in a picture book when you're reading to the preschooler, and by the time they're in middle grade, they're going off and reading on their own.
Right.
And so... yeah, so let's just, these are just, like I said before the break, that, the best person to talk to if you want book recommendations for your kid, because they've got such vast knowledge, are librarians or booksellers, but these are just some of the ones that I really loved this year, and I'm a big reader. And for middle grade, I loved this book called Miss Bixby's Last Day by John David Anderson, which is... a book about a fantastic teacher and 3 very different boys who connected with her, and she changed their lives. And it's a really funny book, and it's also a book, I don't know if it'll make a kid cry, but it sure makes an adult cry.
Oh, really?
So,
Miss Bixby's Last Day. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Miss Bixby's Last Day. And then if, like, picture books, those books that you're reading to them, there's a wonderful book called Thunderboy Jr. by Sherman Alexie. And it's got fantastic illustrations by Juji Morales. And it's a wonderful book to read out loud, figuring out who you are and what your name means in the world, and it's also super, super funny. The times that I have read it out loud to kids, there's a lot of laughter, so that's great. And then let's do one young adult that even though you're older than me, you had a young adult section, and I did not. Maybe it's just because,
where'd you grow up?
Maybe
where you
grew up. I grew up in Claremont.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is probably an hour and a half away from y'all.
Yeah.
So there's this great young adult book by Ruta Septis called Salt to the Sea. And it's fascinating because it's historical fiction, and it is, a love story, but it's also very much a story about this incident. It's the greatest maritime disaster in history, and I'd never heard about it. And so it's a real page-turner of a book because you cannot believe that this is true and that you've never heard of it. And I won't tell you what happens in it, but I will tell you that if you put that in a young adult's hands or an adult's, they will not put it down.
Well, that's what I was going to say. A book like that doesn't sound exclusively for young adults. That sounds like everybody would like it.
Right, and and young adult has become that kind of like that area that both sides draw from. So teens can kind of transition into adult literature with YA, but a lot of adults come to YA for fantastic reads. So it's a very malleable kind of category, and it's great. So, and that's a good point because we want to remind adults to get gifts for other adults that are books, too. A book is a great gift for anybody,
Was it called Salt of the Sea? Is that what you called it?
Salt to the Sea.
Salt to the Sea. Okay.
Yeah. To the sea. Yeah.
When you have written a book like Because of Winn-Dixie, were you sad to see it end because you knew you wouldn't have a sequel to it?
I have yet to do a sequel, and I get a lot of threatening notes from kids about a sequel to that book. It's like really, truly, like there was like this great letter from a kid that was like 10 pages long, and he outlined everything that was going to happen in Winn-Dixie 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then at the very end of the letter, he squinched in this P.S. I have done all the hard work. Get busy.
Oh, my gosh. Isn't that sad?
I loved it. But, it is sad because I don't think in terms of sequels. And so but I always feel like, and this is particularly true with Winn-Dixie, is just like, I left those characters in a happy, safe place. They were all together in one room. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just, like to go back and take that and make them do something else just doesn't seem right. They are where they should be. So even though I get these, I'm joking, threatening letters, but it's just like kids do write all the time and say, I want a sequel. But I always write back and say, I feel like they're where they should be.
Well, if we can add a book that we'd recommend for a young reader, it's called Raymie, Nightingale.
Yes.
And we are going to we're going to put it under the Christmas tree here, and then on December 16th, the lady from a group called Florida Kids Helping Kids will pick this up with the other gifts, and then what they do is they have the children pick out the gifts. And then they for somebody else, and then they wrap them, and then the kids bring them home to give him as a gift on Christmas Day or on Hanukkah, whatever they celebrate.
That's spectacular, and like I said, I'm thrilled to be a part of that, and I'm thrilled that Raymie and those two other friends of hers, Louisiana and Beverly, are going out there.
That's what they'll be. Yes. The friendship that changed their lives. Kate DiCamillo, you have a website?
I do, KateDiCamillo.com, and then I'm also on Facebook, the official Kate DiCamillo page. So
nice.
Well, do you celebrate Christmas?
I do.
Are you going to go out and play in the snow today? Are you going to go out in the snow today?
No, I'm going to be on the phone today. So I'm only looking at the snow, but eventually, I think at 12:30, I'll be able to go out there and I'll walk the dog in the snow.
Think of us, because you might be jealous of our weather, but I want to be there. I want to see the snow. Thank you, Kate. Have a great holiday season.
Here we are. We're waiting for you, and thank you for talking with me.
Thank you. You're always fun. We'll be right back.
Donald Trump for its Person of the Year, the president-elect, telling NBC's Today Show.
Well, it's a great honor. It means a lot, especially me growing up reading Time magazine, and it's a very important magazine.
Time's managing editor says that Hillary Clinton was the number 2 finalist. Other runners-up include the Turkish president and Beyonce. A search and rescue underway for a U.S. Marine Corps pilot who ejected before a crash.
A Marine Corps spokesman says the F-18 Hornet crashed 120 miles southeast of Iwakuni, Japan. The Marine Corps jet was assigned to 1st Marine Air Wing in Okinawa, Japan. This is the 4th Marine F-18 to crash since October.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson, this is the 6th Marine F-18 crash in 2016. Earlier this year, Fox News reported only 30% of the Marine Corps' fleet of F-18s are able to fly. Fox News. We report. You decide.
Okay, so everyone makes a holiday wish list this time of year, and usually these lists are filled with all kinds of the latest gadgets, games, and the hottest new gotta-have-it gifts. But is it possible to give a gift they'll love that might not be on their list? The answer is yes, and I'm here to tell you what it is. I'm David McNeil, inventor of WeatherTech floor liners. You see, at WeatherTech, we start by using lasers to measure a vehicle's interior, so each floor liner is custom fit to each specific make and model. So whatever you drive, your car's floor will be fully protected up the front, in the back, and even up the sides. And the best part is they are made right here in America. WeatherTech also has a full line of premium automotive accessories that make ideal gifts for everyone this season. Ordering is easy. Shop online at WeatherTech.com or call 1-800-CarMats. From all of us at WeatherTech, happy holidays.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
We are more motivated to walk when we're at an interesting destination. Boy, I agree with this, whether it's a park, down Main Street, or even at the mall. The people we sit next to at work, we now know they can have a huge impact on our performance. Our mucous membranes dry out on planes. We lose some of the food's aroma, but breathing more deeply as we eat on the plane will make a bland meal taste a whole lot better.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
We all know the importance of good health, but we may not know the latest advances in medicine that are available to us. Monday at 9 a.m., Bern Paraiso will be our roving medical reporter to tell us about Seven Hill Gastroenterology PA and Dr. Reddy. We'll discuss screening, techniques, and more. So tune in and listen. This is more than news you can use. It's news that could save your life. That's Monday at 9:05 a.m.
Are you a list maker? Got your day planner laid out to structure your day? Well, here's something to add to your list. Make time for something really important. Visit Highland Memorial Park, because how you prepare for that moment is so important. Why Highland? Sure, it's a beautiful place, but aside from the beauty and the quiet reflection, practical people will appreciate the many options. Take a tour and make some serious plans. The Highland staff will confidentially show you all options and payment plans. Call today, 369-1020. Highland Memorial Park. Peace and reflection for your family.
This winter, Life South Community Blood Centers is asking donors to give from the heart. Winter is always a challenging time to meet the needs of our local hospitals, but the need is great. 1 out of every 7 patients entering a hospital needs blood. Keisha was one of those patients. She needed a blood transfusion immediately after giving birth. That transfusion gave her a second chance at life, allowing Keisha to hold her baby for the first time. So give from the heart this winter and donate blood with Life South today. For more information, visit www.lifesouth.org.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
If you or a loved one is suffering with knee, shoulder, neck or back pain, plantar fasciitis, peripheral neuropathy, and even tennis elbow, and would like to learn about how there are treatments that may benefit you, go to drjuanyordan.com, then listen in on the first and third Thursday at 10 a.m. and hear from health professionals doing these treatments and patients who have benefited from them. First and third Thursdays, 10 a.m. Next Generation MD, right here on The Source.